So I just wrapped up a leg day. I've been hitting legs 3 times a week, which seems like a lot, and I guess it is, but it gives me a little more play with exercises that I do. On that third day, I kind of throw in some stuff, lighter weight, higher reps, some different movements that I don't typically do, especially when I'm going heavy. So, I recover fast. I drink my aminos, my glutamine, I eat good, and my body's used to it. So there's a lot of discussion in terms of what's overtraining. I hate that word. What's too much. And it really depends on the individual. The amount of rest they get in terms of how much sleep and their nutrition, how many years they've been training. Their body acclimates after a certain amount of time, and you can sustain more weight, more frequency, things like that. So this works for me. You just kind of got to gauge your body. Like calves, for instance, I'll get asked often, and my calves are nothing special, but they've come a long way over the years. And a lot of people like to manipulate foot placement, duck-footed or pigeon-toed or straight, and I really find that to be negligible. It really comes down to frequency. I say hit calves at least 3 times a week, heavy weight and a lot of reps, and that's really what's going to initiate the growth. And a good, slow, controlled movement. You'll see people, they don't stretch it out all the way, they don't contract it all the way, and they're just bouncing. That's not going to do anything. I'll see guys half my size doing as much or more than me, and they just bouncing. Well, that's why they're skinny calves. They're not going to grow training like that. Today, I know I post a lot of videos of hack squats, so I didn't hack squat today. I always start with my calves. I warm up with extensions. Then I got into the leg press with the band, single leg, and that feels real good on that negative. It's easy on that machine. It's easy to bounce the weight, but if you control it down, you get a good burn. My legs were on fire after that exercise. And then I went into the single leg, like standing hack squat, I guess. I find that to be one of the best glute exercises, right up there with glute bridges. Then I went to single leg press. I like to have days like that where I isolate each leg, where you feel, typically one leg stronger than the other. So when you throw in more days like that where you have single leg focus, it helps to balance out those weaknesses. Then I finished with squats. And I find over the years, once you can eliminate ego lifting, because a lot of people, when you get under the squat rack, they like to do it first, they like to go real heavy. I throw it lately. I've been throwing it in towards the end of my workout. So obviously your legs are full of blood, and you can't go as heavy, but your knees are loose. You're all warmed up, obviously. So it's a good finisher as long as your back isn't fried. So like I said, you get rid of that ego lifting, and then you start pushing those exercises in a different order. That change is gonna recruit some growth, I think most people would find. I didn't pose today. On leg day, I don't pose. It's pointless to pose your legs, because when you fill them up with blood like that, you lose all the definition. So that's pointless, and it's no fun to pose upper body when you don't have a pump. So diet's going good. I've been doing cardio probably 5 times a week, which has been tough because I'm working close to 12 to 15 hour days the last 4 or 5 days in a row now. After those work days, I'll get in the gym late at night, and I really got to push myself. So at this point, it really comes down to, it's not so much physiological. It's more physiological when you start getting into training, when you start figuring out your body, and you start figuring out what you can lift, and the movements and the manipulations of combining different exercises and the order, the structure that you do it in. So once you get past all that, and you got your form down, and you got your routine for the most part down, then it becomes more psychological than physiological. So after these long work days, physically I'm drained. So that's when my mind has to, it's all about mental strength, really, you know. So you got to get your head right. You got to get your head in a place. You have to be able to, it's all about your vision. And fortunately for me, this is going to be my 9th show, so I know what to expect, and that's, well, improvement every time. So I have to visualize my weaknesses from the previous year or the previous competition, and put in my head how I want to look, and that's how I'm going to look, because I visualize that, and that's how. Your mind is a powerful tool. It has a powerful impact on your body and your development. So people that tell themselves, well, I can't do that, you can't. I've never adopted that mentality. That actually, when somebody tells me I can't do something, that essentially fuels me to do it. And I kind of get off on the idea that I can do things that most people can't do. So that mindset is, I think, the biggest thing that separates me from other people, and a lot of people that can compete at my level or higher. I think we share the same kind of mentality, the same mindset. A guy approached me at the gym, and it's not the first time that I've been asked this, and it's not going to be the last. But he asked me, he sized me up, and he said, "How do you do that? How do you get like that?" And it's hard for me to answer that, because it's frustrating, because it's like, you think there's like a magic shake or like a magic. I was sarcastic with him, and I told him, I said, it's a secret, but you can't tell anybody. I said, the secret is, all you got to do is for 20 years straight, train every single day and eat healthy 6 meals a day, and every time you train as hard as you can for 20 years. That's all you got to do. And I joke, but like that's what it is. That's what did it. A lot of these people, they're older, and they just started getting into it, and they think that those results are going to come fast, and that's just not the case. That's not what's going to happen. If they saw my progression over the years, it's a little bit each year, very, very little, but over a long period of time, it's significant. Right now, over 10, 12 years ago, I was in college, and I weigh about 10 pounds more than I did then. And I was never overweight. I was never even chubby. But I look completely different. So it just goes to show, you don't even have to put on much weight to physically change significantly. So it's the way that the weight is distributed, and the way that you hold it, and the way that you just shaping your body. And so it's incredible what people think, man, in 12 years you can only put on 10 pounds. Well, when I did my first show, I was 21, and I weighed 235 when I started my diet, and I cut down to 188, and I still could have been a good 8 pounds leaner, I'd say. And now I start at 245, and I'm hopefully going to cut down to about 220. So obviously it's a more quality size, but people want results fast, and that's the problem. They want to know what supplements to take over, that they want to know the secret, and there's no secret. They want to know what supplements to take. They want to know the shortcut, but they don't want to know what it really takes, and that's training as hard as you can each day, harder than you did the day before, and pushing yourself past those limits. And I think people put in their head, and they create these excuses. Oh, I don't want to overtrain, and people have said that to me. They don't really say it. I don't hear it as much anymore, because I guess the results kind of speak for themselves. But people used to say, I think these are the same people that would come to me asking for advice and tips, and then they would kind of proceed that with, well, don't you think you're kind of overdoing it? Don't you think you're overtraining? No, I don't. And in all honesty, I'd rather overtrain than undertrain. You know, if I overtraining, then maybe those couple extra exercises that I did were I could have done without. Okay, that's fine, but at least I know I didn't leave anything in the gym when I left. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions a lot of people have today. They're looking for the wrong answers, and it's all about hard work. It's all about discipline, and it's discipline over motivation. And I guess for me, my discipline motivates me. People ask how do you stay motivated? Don't you have days where you wake up and you just don't feel like doing something? Sure, I mean, everybody has those days, but that feeling like that isn't going to dictate how the rest of my day is going to go. I push through it. You know, they're just like days. There's days you wake up and you don't want to go to work. Too bad. You're going to go to work. You got to pay the bills. You have to. So that's just the mindset that I have with training. You get it done. You have to do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, but it's just you do it. That's I think that's the best advice that I can give for anybody that's kind of looking how to. Because I get asked a lot, you know, how do you juggle the work and the yeah, I'm busy. I'm real busy. I don't have time for anything else. But I love what I do. I love my job. I love my training, and I'm happy with that. And I get it done. So that's my advice to people to stop working on looking for that motivation and start working on your discipline. So we've been filming every week. This is the third consecutive week we've been filming. We titled it 17 weeks. Last week was 16 weeks. This is supposed to be 15 weeks. But we're really, by the time this gets posted in a couple days, it's going to be 14 weeks out. So mentally, that's kind of messing with me. So it'll feel like I'm a week behind. So we're just going to, though the videos have been consecutive, we're just going to title this one 14 weeks out. Because by the time it gets posted, it's going to be 14 weeks out. So when you see the 15, don't be looking for the 15 week, because we're just kind of jumping over and getting right to the 17, 16, and we're going to jump to the 14 weeks out. So that's what this video is going to be, 14 weeks out.